Languages are weird, bro.
Yeah, I was just thinking it's crazy to make music in another language because music is the same in regards to just rhyming. You have to rhyme, but if you're using a different language, then you have different rhyming words. You know,
Yeah.
even though our words are pointing to the same ideas, it's like the way that we express them vocally is just different.
Yeah.
And but the rhyming is the same, or the idea of music is still cross culture. It's like we have a rhythm. There's bars. There's like a flow and a pattern.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's trippy.
I have friends that listen to music in Spanish, right?
Yeah, like Bad Bunny and stuff.
Yeah. But also, like, I guess, like, I think Bad Bunny is to Drake, but, like, also you can think back about, like, oh, man, I'm just trying to think about, like, some classic songs like Queen or, like, 80s music or, like,
it's like classic rock, where it's like hits.
Hits. I'm talking about, like, the big hits, you know
like
what I'm saying?
timeless hits.
Yeah, the timeless hits throughout, like, time that still get played on radio stations and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, what are some of your parents' favorite songs that are also your favorite songs? Because, like, transcendental timeless hit, you know what I'm saying?
Like Bob Marley.
Yeah, like that. That'll do it. What's that song that's like a rose?
Like a rose.
I don't remember.
Every rose has its thorn.
That's one for sure. Yeah,
Bret Michaels, I'm pretty sure.
that's great. But anyways, it's, what am I trying to say here? My Spanish-speaking friends tell me that, like, the timeless hits from, like, the meta of the Spanish music that they know and grew up and listening to, and I want to say it's, like, music mostly from Mexico, but I don't really know, you know?
Yeah.
They say that like, they're like, that's music. Your guys' music is, like, all right, but, like, that's music. Like, they speak from the soul. And at
Okay.
first I'm just like, you're so biased.
It's
Like,
like-
what?
It sounds like just like the cliche nature of someone being like, oh, this music isn't as good as what we're listening to back in my day.
yeah.
Stems from the same kind of.
That's definitely how I perceived those things kind of at first when I'd heard that perspective. But then after I heard, like, multiple different people kind of, like, express to me the same thing about, like, yeah, but, like, bro, music in Spanish is, like, that's music.
Okay.
And, like, it's so crazy because, like, I don't know, like, I don't have any of the context I need to, like, appreciate that music.
Yeah, I think that's me and a lot of the listeners right now. But
Right.
you were given information that.
But people that
shed light on it.
I trust, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
they're, like, still listening to that music and mixing it in. Apparently there's just, like, something about, like, the writing or just, like, the more passionate nature about what they're saying. Or if it's, like, maybe vulnerability, like, weighs more in that culture. So when it's done, like, really well and really right with the music, it's, like, more touching. Because that's kind of the vibe I get more than anything is
Okay.
that the music is more touching than our music. Like, it'll make you cry, bro. Like, you don't even know about music, bro. Have you fucking listened to this?
This shit moves you.
Yeah.
It's art.
Yeah, it's like, that's what's being expressed to me. And I don't want to be like, I've kind of developed this. I don't think they'd be lying, you know what I'm saying? Like, they know both languages. They like this music too, you know what I'm saying? There's something that they're trying to express that, like, I don't know. Because I don't know the language, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like, I
yeah.
can't appreciate it.
There's a barrier to entry. Can't quite get into.
Right? And that makes me think about, like, if language is just like that as a whole, like, there's just things that can be achieved or are achieved in certain languages that, like, we can't really understand. I don't know what it's... If that vulnerability, like, does way more, and then you hear, like, something, just, like, someone really expressing themselves in this really moving, touching way that, like, gets to a higher frequency of, like, emotional... My God, this is amazing.
Emotional intensity or power or impact.
Yeah. I'm like, that's pretty tight. That's cool.
Yeah.
I guess ultimately it makes me want to know and understand all languages so that I can really know what we're feeling out here as a people.
Yeah. What the hell are we all talking about here?
Right? Wouldn't that be nice?
I wonder if you like were to overlap all the languages, because I know that there are languages or many phrases and expressions and things ideas that we're trying to get across cross culturally. Everyone has things, but there's like, if we were to overlap all the languages, that there's like holes missing in each language. Like there's certain things that we don't have words for that people do have words for, and vice versa, or expressions like, oh, we don't really have a word for that in Spanish or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Things like that.
Yeah, that happens sometimes whenever you're looking for like a direct translation.
Yeah.
They're like,
Well, yeah, we wouldn't say it like that.
Yeah,
To
yeah.
express that idea, to get that across, we would say it like this.
right.
And it's a little bit different. So it's like, I guess if you were to know all the languages and see like what's common across all the languages, those are probably some of the most true things that we all refer to everywhere.
Dude. That thought is okay. That there's so much going on with that thought. One thing is like we can't learn all the languages. Like I mean, my brain.
Someone knows a lot. I guess who knows the most languages ever? I'm gonna look it up right now.
That person is trying to learn them all. Like
Yeah.
there's a part of my body that's like, dude, just start with learning Spanish and then just move to the next one and then just move to the next one. We're gonna conquer these islands.
They build together sometimes too, or like build on like Spanish and Italian, I believe, are pretty similar.
So like your knowledge would be like you'd be getting better at getting better. Like you'd become exponentially faster at learning the languages.
Yeah, learning language in general.
Right. Right. There's hope there in that. I believe that. Like
Yeah.
the problem is there's just so much going on, dude. And you have to really dedicate yourself to learn Spanish. Like it's not like, dude, we took like 12 years of English classes, and our parents every day were telling us like, or my parents were telling me, that's not proper grammar. Or like, my dad would just be like, what are you saying? What are you saying? I'm literally, if you can fix your sentence, I'll answer your question. And then I would be like, have to think about it. You know what I'm saying? But we'd have to pay someone a lot of money to do that to us now to learn Spanish, which just makes it like, it's like not worth it, but it's just like hard to keep that like a high enough priority that you're actually achieving that goal.
It's a lot to ask.
You only have so many 10,000 hours to give.
Yeah. You only so much time to devote to anything outside of your work, sleep, eating, family obligations. It's like there's not a lot of extra time left over for your hobbies. I guess if your hobbies include or trying to introduce or include in your hobbies like a skill development portion of like your hobby time, or free time.
Yeah. Yeah, so
It's a big ask.
There's not that much to budget.
Yeah. I guess, hold on, here we go. I just looked up who knows the most languages in the world. Oh, wait, no, what the hell? The most languages spoken by one person and who holds the Guinness Book of World Records is Ziad Fazah. Ziad Fazah
He's nasty.
claims to be able to read and speak 58 languages.
That guy's brain has got to be nuts.
58. Okay. Now the next question would be, how many languages are there? Like total. According to the Ethnologue Guide, there are 7,139 officially known languages in the world.
Oh, wow.
This guy.
Not even. Oh, wow.
Get fucked.
Yeah, right.
Not even close, kid.
It's like
No one's getting close to that.
50 out of how many thousand you said?
58 out of 7,100.
Yeah, I'm trying to do some quick math there, but
Bruh.
what percent is that? Are we at like 6%?
Super small.
Or like 0.6%?
Yeah, if it was 7,100 divided by 58. Oh, I know the other way around. 58 divided by 7,100. That's how sometimes. That's how I do it. I'm like, that number's way too big. Hold on, let me just reverse that.
That's not it.
I don't know, 8. There's no way that's right. 0.008.
Not even 1% of the languages? 1 out of 100 would be 1%.
0.8%.
So yeah, 0.8%.
Not even 1%.
It's crazy.
And he knows the most in the world.
Crazy.
Bruh. Yeah, that's ridiculous. We're all just expressing ideas,
So there's the thought that
identifying things.
like puts that thought to rest, or like the new place that I came to in my understanding of the world was like, I can't, like, you can't learn all those languages. So like there's like this thing that happens where each language is going to be like rich, maybe I don't know if this is a reach, but I think they'll be all languages will be rich and poor in something, because like you're able to really express this, but like compared to the other languages in the meta, like you fail to express this thing with ease, just based on like the structure of the way you word things. Not any one person, but like the language itself. Because I think that there's like,
Who's creating all these fucking languages?
Dude, people, bro.
Right?
Fucking people just
It's like
talking.
like I guess within that though, like the people within the community, it's like the council, like the elders, or like who among the people within the community or the society or the culture or the tribe, the peoples, who comes together and decides, and then like tells everyone, this is our language that we're speaking. I mean, who makes it official? I guess because I guess we're communicating a whole lot. I guess kind of coming up through grunts and groans and and points and pointing and body language and tone.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, that's expressing something for sure. Imagine if they didn't know how to do that at first. They were just like, I don't know, like, yeah. I guess an angry fucking humanoid would sound different than like a happy humanoid, just naturally, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's like a dog, you know,
yeah. Can't help it.
different types of growls
Yeah, you're right, bro.
and sounds.
But what's the governing body like? Who governs
Yeah.
English now? Who tells us what's right and wrong English now?
Yeah,
Fucking colleges and schools.
What is it? Merriam Dictionary, Merriam-Webster, or some shit.
Yeah.
Merriam Oxford. I don't even know.
I'm sure it's
reaching here.
a bunch of academics make that thing. So it's probably just like academia. That's what governs language. Now, I don't know. Like you said, caveman times. I really don't know.
Yeah, it started somewhere.
In Viking times, it was probably
Came a
the
long
church,
way.
because like the church was translating Latin a lot, and so I think that was like a study. You know, you had to study and learn Latin in the church, and then be able to transcribe it. And that was like definitely one way people were like learning language.
Mm-hmm.
And then like when you encounter people from Norway, it's like they all speak one way. Like they have a language, but like how that came to be, I don't know. Like when someone started using Viking slang, like Norway slang, and they're like, "Who the fuck is this guy making up new words and shit? Stone him, stone him to death."
Which
Yeah, right. I don't know.
it's crazy. It's crazy to think about. It's like incomprehensible to a little bit of a degree. It's like, how the hell did that actually happen?
No clue.
We just made language happen, and we all agree on it. Like we're all just playing by these rules and using these words within reason, at least enough to express ideas to each other, and it makes sense, and we can operate and commingle and cooperate, and just like
Like,
gel with each other, or it's like, I know what your intentions, or I guess we can express our intentions to each other and our expectations, and I guess like our desires, or like what we're trying to have achieve here. And if we're in a world where we both understand what we're doing, like myself and yourself, it's a lot easier to just like be chilling. But yeah, I guess it's a lot scarier place if you're in a language, or a country or a place where you don't know the language, don't speak the language. It's a lot harder to get what you want, or to like not even get what you want, like in that sense, but to operate. Get what you want is in like locate the bathrooms, or like fucking whatever, get from A to B, or ask how much, the simple questions,
yeah,
simple things that we're trying to get here to survive.
yeah.
It's like, where's the food? Where's the water? Like, how do y'all clean things? How do you clean things?
Yeah, you have to use your hands. So you'd be like, water. They're like, okay, like, water, okay. And you'd be like,
Charades, bro. Charades.
now, please, I'm dying. Like, that's what it was, though. That, I mean, earliest times, like when you just like encountered someone from a different culture, you would like, then they'd be like, agua,
act it out.
and you'd be like, oh, that's agua. For me, that's water.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
people invested in learning like the other languages. Like, yeah, it said that the King of England learned how to speak, I don't know what the Viking language was, but like Norway's language, which was just different. Like he,
Like Norwegian? Or like
yeah, I guess Norwegian. He learned that language, and then first Ragnar learned English, which is like crazy. He was like a real life actual Viking king, but when he was just a farmer, this is like a real guy. He like learned English, and then when I don't know exactly how, like when he found. They raided a town in England, the first one they raided, and he took a priest with him back to Norway, and then he knew enough English to talk to him, and then like taught that guy like Norwegian, And then at some point, that priest goes to go stay with the King of England because the King of Norway made friends with the King of England. And then his priest went to go stay with the King of England, and then he taught him Norwegian backwards like that. And then now, like culturally, these like there's some of the only people that know both what was then I guess English or Latin English or whatever and Norwegian, so that they could communicate like cross culturally because yeah they were like raiding them and like trying to take their lands and shit, so they had to make like peace treaties and shit like that. Imagine just running through. It's like, all right, our culture. This is what we're gonna do as a people. We're gonna go raid that city. We're gonna kill everybody in that city, and we're gonna take that city.
That's our shit. That's our city.
We need a claim in this fucking land. We're doing that. Like, and none of those people even speak your language. It's crazy, dude.
Fucking savages.
It was like 1600s.
Yeah, I know what it feels like now to a little bit of a degree, like learning and practicing and speaking Spanish a little bit, especially to some of the guests who speak predominantly Spanish, which some of our guests do. And like being in South Texas, there's such a lot of Spanish speakers in the area. So it's nice. I guess I know what it feels like to at least try and to receive like the energy you get back whenever you at least express your intention of like, I'm trying to like learn your language and like connect with you on that level. It's like, it's perceived super well, and it's like super well, not respected, but definitely like admirable, or they're like, oh, like you're trying. And like I feel the same way. Like if someone's trying to learn English and like trying to talk to me like that, it's like that's what's up. So I can imagine back in the Ragnar days, back in the Vikings, it was like you come upon someone who's like not from your culture and they know your language, you're just like, oh shit.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Kind of astonishing.
Who are you?
Yeah, whoa.
How'd you do that?
Because like I'm king of these
we
people.
can do that?
Yeah, right. It's fucking crazy.
He was like seeing a real life genius. It's like that's like genius traits, especially back then. That's crazy.
Yeah,
that's crazy. I know fucking Duolingo or Google Translate.
None of that. But the need for survival was way higher. Like I don't know if they had. It just seems like they had more force of will because they had to fucking literally like survive every day. Whereas we can just like come home to our AC apartment and most of the time our water filtered out of our fridge and just like, oh yeah, I've got some frozen fish, like all that shit. But they were like, all right, I just think they had more, because life was more like life or death all the time. Maybe they're just like more cracked people. Like, oh, I'm learning this fucking language.
Yeah.
Like,
there's nothing else to do. Fuck, there's nothing else to do.
That too.
There's nothing else to do.
They're playing fucking video games.
No
or
electronics.
watching Netflix.
Ain't shit to do. You're just outside. Even whenever you're in your shelter, you're like still outside, like your fucking hut. You're not like in a house. It's like you're always just outside, hanging out, fucking working out.
They had like kingdoms and shit.
Not working out,
but they didn't really have like money and shit.
Physical labor. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so just raiding shit, practicing with your battle axe.
Yeah, practicing battle axing.
I'm battle axing every day, bro.
Sharpening your swords every day.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking,
just running.
The guy that became the king of Norway was started as a farmer, so he was like, really. And that was another reason why they wanted a stake in England, was they wanted like settlements. He was like, if you have a farm and then you have like a governing body, like a kingdom or some kind of like person in charge, you can have like community. That was like that was where they were as a society. They're like, okay, now let's get a community here. Oh, they got a community over there. What are you doing? Okay, you guys are farming and you have a fucking leader. It's like, okay, cool. You guys raid for money? Okay, cool. They're like, let's raid together for money. And that was like just what was happening over there. It's fucking crazy. But that was like as far as they'd gotten.
That's wild. That's wild.
So farming,
nothing else to do.
That's
you kind of have to farm.
Yeah, ton of farming going on.
A lot of the people, a majority of the people, much more of like the percentage of population kind of had to farm. At least a little bit. You had to do something for food, bro. Fuck.
Yeah, food was like
you need to eat. You need to live.
You gotta make that food happen. Grain and shit. How do you get grain? You grow grain?
Yeah, you grow fucking wheat.
Yeah, you grow that, right? I'm just trying to. I'm like, does that also farm?
Trying to make
like,
flour. Yeah, making anything, any type of food.
Yeah, they had to hunt their protein, so it's like hunters and shit.
Mm-hmm.
So crazy, bro.
Yeah, fucking languages, dude.
Catching their own fish every day, fucking spearfishing and shit. So, yeah, anyways, I think when you asked me,
too. Oh yeah, I guess the necessity. What were you saying?
Yeah, I think you asked me something about maybe ask myself, like, how do all these languages appear? How do we get so many different languages? It's like some of it, or who governs the language, like who makes the rules about it. Some of it's just like those. It's just like the truth and the culture. It's like right now, if anybody starts saying some weird ass shit at work, I'm gonna be like, "What are you talking about?" And then that's gonna like govern him to some degree. Like not just me, but everybody. Like all of our perceptions of each and every person and our own perceived perception of how people are perceiving us. That kind of like governs itself, and then like that whatever that is like culture. What's acceptable, what's not acceptable, what works and what doesn't work. And I guess like culture through all time govern these languages in such a way that like I think part of it's like dialect, right? So like if Spanish is a lot like Italian, it's like Italians were probably they were probably speaking the same language at some point, and then for whatever reason it got different enough that we had to call it a different language, or they grew independent enough that they're like, this is our language.
Yeah, something.
I don't know.
Because yeah, Spanish, or I guess like Spain is European, like in Italy. But even Spain Spanish is different than like Mexico, South American Spanish.
But they don't call it different Spanish.
Yeah,
It's
it's just Spanish across the board. But like but I think like there are pockets within like South America that are like different, like Colombia, or like some of the accents are different, but then also some of the words like are actually different as well.
Yeah, like Portuguese is different.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah.
So it's like I think what you hit it like it's crossed, it's similar, and then eventually becomes distinct enough to become its own thing. But we're all built from, I guess, a lot of the same foundational words.
Maybe that's the thing. If you want to learn all the languages, just like learn Latin, because then you're gonna learn like the bones,
a lot of the roots,
like 30 languages.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Wants to learn Latin, guys? sounds like not a fun time, to be honest.
Crazy shit. Yeah, that was back in high school.
What does this allude to? Like my yearning for understanding is like there's too much to be. You can't understand everything, bro.
You can't understand it all.
I have a theory that when we die, one of the first things like we wake up kind of like in like what would be like a museum. It's like a castle.
Okay.
Same time, castle museum. It's like all white everywhere, and you're in this like big room, and then somebody like greets you, and they're like, "Hello, we'd like to show you this," and you're like, "Okay." You just like feel great, so you're like, something's awesome.
Yeah.
Something awesome's going on here. You're wearing like dope suit. This is how I envision it.
Okay.
And then like I walk up to like this one painting, big painting, giant white room, one painting, and it's like kind of moving a little bit. Like you can't tell as you're walking up to it. You're like, what is this? And then they're like, just take this in, and then you take in this painting, and as you take in this painting, you gain a complete understanding of everything that happens in the earth. Like you just get it, like light bulb.
Understood.
Bing!
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Son of a bitch.
Brava. Brava.
It's beautiful. Like I think that I think I have like you could call that a fantasy even. But like one of the reasons why I think that, and also I told that to my dad, and he said that there's like something that in Paul, I think, that like alludes to that same kind of sentiment, like coming to heaven and then gaining understanding of all things. Like you won't know all things here, but like once you get into that place, you'll understand all things.
Yeah.
And
I'm with that.
because like you just can't. It's like honestly, it's an anxiety relieving sentiment. I'm like one day you'll do it and it'll be beautiful. But like on
You'll
this
get it.
fucking. Only thing I figured out is I'll never have it all figured out.
Yeah. Yeah, that's our life, is the limitation, or our boundaries. We can't know it all.
But with language, it would be nice to, you know what I'm saying?
People who study language, yeah, I'm sure.
Stack up all the languages and just understand where the ebbs and flows are. It's like, hold on, there's the best way to express this idea, this feeling that I have is actually in Swedish. They have the most encompassing sentiment for what I want to say right here.
Yeah, embodies this expression of this idea perfectly, or this emotion, or this idea, this desire, whatever message I'm trying to communicate.
Yeah.
Messages. Yeah, bro. I think we were talking earlier. What were we're talking about, I guess, like I guess back in the times of Vikings and such, years and years and years ago, like learning other languages or learning language in general. It was kind of like nothing else to do first and foremost, so you had a lot more free time. But then also I think the need to learn it more was there, especially if you were in Because yeah, how could you learn a language unless you were like submersed in the culture or like in contact with somebody who knows the language thoroughly enough to teach it to you?
Right.
Because you can't look it up online. You can't learn it on your own. You need someone to teach it to you back in the day. So you would like, I guess with that being said, you would ideally or kind of in theory be in that place already. So it's like if I were to now go and like move myself to fucking Chile or to Colombia, it's like I would learn the language pretty quick. At least the basics enough to communicate and get from here to there, and like slowly but surely I would build up and like I would
That's
be
the thing.
fluent in 6 months.
Dude, now we're talking. Now we're talking.
Now we're talking.
Okay? And maybe it's just hard to learn a language on a fucking textbook. Like, you need to... It needs to be your life, dog.
Yeah.
How did you learn what bread was? Like, someone said, would you like a sandwich? Or, like, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like, encountering the thing.
Yeah.
If you're not encountering the thing, like...
It's all theoretical.
Yeah.
It's all theory. It's all theoretical, like classroom Spanish until you're like in the streets, in el calle.
Yeah. That's when you'll learn what the fuck is going on. You know what I'm saying? Also, like, if you're just around people talking about stuff, like, if you didn't just have a perception of a person and see them talk about a thing, like, you're going to pick up on how to say things or how they would say things.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. The practical use,
Submersion, right? Did we say that word?
Yeah, I don't think so.
Submersion.
Yeah, it's getting completely immersed in that bitch.
Yeah.
Much, much quicker.
Yeah, exactly.
If that's what you're going for, too.
Also,
that's what I'd be going for.
I guess we're like that about everything.
At least try to be understood.
If I was living in a country like that, yeah, we do that. I do that with English. Like, I like to have a good grip on English. Like, you could be like happy, or you could be like joyful, or you could be in bliss, or you could have found peace, or you could be feeling serenity, or you could be hopeful. Those are all very different positive emotions. Like, they're different things. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Or you could just say, I feel good. And it's
boom.
Like, you know? But, like, I don't want to just say, I feel good. Like, I want to, like, and maybe it's selfish. Maybe it's, like, narcissistic to want to be understood on that level. You just be like, I'm good. And not really, like, bother anybody else with how I'm actually doing. If I'm be like, man, I feel just fucking, like, peace, bro. You feeling that? I feel peace right now. Like, I don't know. It's like, I think I would be bored if I wasn't just, like, actually having, like, a real conversation.
Yeah, I think the maybe it is. I don't think it's selfish. I think it's important. I think it's the opposite. I think it's selfless. I think it's important for society if everyone can understand exactly what I mean. You know what I'm saying? For my like to be on an even keel with reality.
That tasted good.
Yeah.
Yummy.
Yeah.
No, I see what you're saying.
Right.
Like,
it's both.
Do you feel like you're taking away from? We're all kind of taking away from everything if we just like keep dull it down, keep it on surface level. If we don't like seek to describe things, to give them their independent sovereignty each moment. Like, good is not like, it's not sufficient enough all day. It's like, you feel different things. You're going through different experiences. It's like you're detracting from the beauty that life is by not like appreciating it enough to express it properly. I can see it that way for sure.
Yeah, trying to express it to the fullest. Express it in the fullest to the best of your ability. It's like partly your responsibility to be able to, or maybe it's a gift, maybe it's a blessing to be able to interpret and try to express at like a deeper level.
Maybe you're doing justice to your witness too. Like, if part of your like innate responsibility on this earth is to be a witness for the other people on this earth, like maybe you're not doing justice to that if you're not like accurately expressing what you went through or what happened or how you felt.
Yeah, maybe it's like the idea of watching a movie or the ability to like really watch a movie, you know what I'm saying? That's a gift kind of. It's like to watch it really watch it. You know what I'm saying? Not just watch a movie, but to fucking watch a movie. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Go on, tell me more though.
It's like scene by scene. It's like if the director put it in there, it's probably important.
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And like God's like the director of directors, dog.
Yeah.
So like everything could be like that important. So it's like it's kind of a gift to be
Especially
able
the shit you notice.
to see and express and to interpret with that much depth.
Yes. Dude.
Yeah.
Yes. Have you ever been a kid and you're watching a movie and then your parents are like, you don't even fucking know what's going on. You like this movie, huh? You like it? It's beautiful is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've been there where it's just like you're kind of like too unsophisticated. You're too like not
Surface
developed
level.
enough.
Mhm.
Yeah, to be able to like really appreciate it for what it is. And that's why it's cool to read books over and over again,
Yeah, to rewatch
Right.
things and reintroduce yourself.
right? Because you didn't really watch it.
Yeah.
You were watching it, but you didn't watch it.
I understand. I get it. You only have so much
Everybody's
attention.
got eyes, Joe. Not everybody sees, Joe.
Not everybody is watching. Joe.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's
so
it.
I'm with you. I feel like and then man, I wanted to ask you, well, before I take us off the subject, maybe we'll try to tie it together. But God is like the
Let's
best
go.
author, dude.
Yeah.
Like bravo.
Bye-bye.
Bravo. Like there's times where I'm just like, whenever life just like hits in a way that you're just like, it makes me think that not that we signed up for this, but like life is meant to be an experience. Like you're meant to experience life. It's like,
Mhm.
why are we here? For the experience. Like not like EXP like in a video game so you can level up, but like
Uh-huh.
just to experience life. To go through it one time. Like from the innocent, most raw, most untouched version all the way through to the end of one full experience. And I think
Mhm.
that like and we can't even conceptualize what it is fully.
We can't.
You know what I'm saying?
We can't. We could try. People think or whatever.
And even if you got to that room in heaven where you're looking at that painting and you understand it all, I think in that moment you would be like, okay, could I run it back? Could I like do it? Because now I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so dumb. But there's no way that I could go back and like, you know, my simulation would be better with this kind of new awareness or understanding I have. Like things would be different and better. I would be better. Like maybe not better things would happen to me, but like I could be better for other people. Who knows what you appreciate in the afterlife?
Yeah, who knows?
You know what I'm saying?
Who knows? The great mystery. The greatest.
Yeah. So I think that all that to say, when life is like when you get that moment of, for me I call it like an LSD moment where I feel like I'm no longer in what would be like life's ambiguity and its mystery. Am I tripping? Is life just life? Am I just working? Am I
What
just
is
a
any of
person?
this?
What is any of this? I don't really know. Who knows? Who could know? But in a moment when you fucking know, you're like, oh my gosh, God is amazing.
This
God-
is true. This is truth.
This is as true gets. I'm walking in it. Like this is like not everything that happened while Jesus was alive got written down into the Bible, but like this is one of those moments where in the book of Matthew, like this page is written right here. Like this is to be experienced and remembered. Like this was for me, you know? That shit is like, I don't know. I don't know if it justifies the rest of the time when you don't really know, or if it's just like just trying to express that like that's better than any movie. That's better than any climax of any book I've ever read, you know? It's like everything's trying to imitate that thing.
Yes.
Everything's making up a story so that they can have a climax, but it's like inspired by that real life feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And that shit's fucking
Like it's all connected
lie.
and it all comes full circle, or
yeah.
the story plays out properly, however that is, whatever that looks like. It works out.
The chickens come to roost, the seeds get reaped, like
Yeah.
the full circle, the fucking ba ba ba.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to
Yeah,
explain
it's
it.
the Shawshank Redemption, bro, where he gets out because he's innocent. The whole time he's innocent, and then he escapes. He gets out. Justice is served. We love that shit. But yeah, I think God can do that with life itself, and we feel those whenever you hit the like. I remember, golly, I remember like having that feeling, being like taking a break from vitamins and then getting back onto vitamins.
Mm.
After a long enough break from vitamins, when you come back, you get the super vitamin effect.
Whoa.
Mega vitamin effect on regular vitamins. They level up. And you just have that. Sometimes you just sit there and you just come to this mental playground of just thoughts coming and going, just flowing within yourself, and you're thinking and feeling. And then, yeah, you come to some sort of understanding about some shit. Or like you have that LSD moment where things kind of line up, or coincidence, like extreme coincidence on such a level that is irrefutable within your own self. You are just like, wow, that was such a coincidence that only like an outside force, someone watching my life, the camera, the audience, whatever's going on, someone had to like influence that for that coincidence to hit me so hard. And like those moments can lead to that level of clarity where you're just sitting there, you just know, like you're just sitting and just like knowing the answer. When like a teacher asks you the question and you just raise your hand, you're like, oh, right here, right fucking here, bro.
Justin.
D. It's like
Very good.
with
very
the most
good.
confidence in the world. Like you just know what it is. Like whatever that feeling is, like you have that. You get to a place where like it's an emotion. And that emotion comes up whenever you're like, you cross like a consciousness pathway, or like you look at a spiritual doorway and you're like, that's it right there. Ding. It's like, I know it. I know this to be true. There's more here than I'm experiencing, or there's more here than I could ever imagine. And sometimes it just like visits me and tells me that. It's just like, there's more than you can imagine here. And then it's like, whoa, whoa. And then you're just back into normal life, having to act like you didn't hear that.
Could you imagine if you felt like that all the time though? Just everywhere you were, whoa!
It'd be too much.
At HEB, oh my gosh!
You wouldn't be able to go to HEB.
No, dude, it's like, whoa!
You can drive anywhere. You can do anything, bro.
That's the thing. That's why it almost not has to hide from us, but it's like
Yeah.
that's why you need faith.
Maybe it's like that feeling of the whoa is like pure DMT, and it's like we have just enough in our body to animate us and to keep us at this level, at normal level. But if we get too much DMT, we start to whoa.
Yeah, that checks out.
And then if we don't have enough, or like we're in a negative trajectory, then like life starts to get dull, and then darker and darker and darker. We're
Descends into hell.
nihilistic.
I mean,
Or you can see the whoa.
I mean, dude, I don't know if there was if that idea was just like in a book and that book was like a New York bestseller, I'd be like, well, maybe that's what's going on here. Because you're my friend on the couch. Sometimes it's like I think other people in the audience would be like hesitant to be like, maybe that is what's going on here because we're not scientists.
Those are crazy people.
I don't know, but that shit checks out for me, bro.
Checks out my science.
Let's write a book. Get on the New York
Checks out my
bestseller,
science.
bro.
We need to do some research. But I think God does, life itself does manifest itself in a way to where you'll feel that heightened sense of emotion or that heightened sense of whatever. And I think, because we do, just like even on a scientific base level, we do have that DMT crazy psychedelic experience inducing drug, tryptophan or whatever.
Yeah, something like that.
Dimethyltryptamine, whatever it is, whatever the DMT stands for. Like we all literally have that biologically in our body a little bit. We all have it a little bit. So it's like, man, maybe that thing's generating the entire experience.
It could be.
Or maybe it's like
certainly
part
could
of
be.
it. Yeah, a big part of our access to that realm, because
There we go.
you can get there without the like psilocybin mushrooms or the LSD, like the actual psychedelic substances that we have that
Right.
also can reliably induce this experience, like across time. We've like come to learn that like we're studying this now, like in science. It's like definitely like a certified medical field now, like psilocybin mushrooms and
Yeah.
that kind of stuff.
Yeah, this is valid.
Super valid science now,
Yeah.
especially in the last 20 years.
For
Like,
sure.
30 years ago, 40 years ago, people were nuts in like the 70s and shit, or considered to be like nuts and crazy.
Super crazy.
The war on drugs broke out, all that
Exactly.
shit. Yeah.
And then there was like Marilyn Manson, which people now think was like propaganda against drugs as a whole, that it was like a
Mhm.
CIA operation and that they wanted to criminalize hippies and,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
get rid of that movement.
Open your mind.
Taken. Like
Yeah.
they're trying to literally like bury that and get rid of it. It's like speculative because you want to make people want to make the argument that they're doing that because everybody was opening their mind.
It's
They were like didn't need to go to a job so much, and they were like really like peaceful and like
anti-war.
anti-war. Yeah, more like docile and almost
Oneness.
like pacifistic.
Yeah.
Yeah, like let's just love and be cool. Like we don't need all of this like division and conflict, right?
Yeah.
But like I think the government kind of relied on it or was becoming to rely on
Benefits from it at least somehow.
Or even if they weren't, maybe they just thought it was necessary. They're like, we have to go to war. What are you talking about? Like, you ever seen the world stage play out? Like, motherfuckers go to war.
Yeah.
And
we're protecting our freedom.
Right. And also I think there was this big like people really wanted like our society really wanted that kind of cookie cutter like go get a good job and then have a house and then have a family. But then people were like, yeah, we don't need like houses or a job or like I love you, you're my family right now. Like people were I think it was like
they just build a community, man, and live with each other, man. No money, man. No shoes, man. No problem. No deodorant, man. Free.
That's a problem.
Truly free.
That's a problem.
Too free. Too free.
Go jump in the lake before we hang out, bro.
Trim that shit. Trim yourself. You fucking Sasquatch.
Dude, I'm with you. So yeah, but this is, I guess what I'm trying to say is these intelligence officials might have legitimately thought that this shit was a threat to American life, you know? Not just that like people were going to unlock their potential to tap into the matrix.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like...
Yeah, maybe it was too much too fast. We were just like, what the fuck is all this? Hold on, we got to put this away. We can't quite comprehend what's going on with this.
Yeah, true. That too, right?
Mm-hmm. I think that's what Jordan Peterson says about it too a little bit. But now it's definitely been more so integrated into the scientific study fields and like to academia as legitimate.
Mr. Justin?
So it's tight. Yeah.
Well, should I just take LSD every day all the time so I can feel the whoa? Does Jordan Peterson take LSD every day all the
time? I'd be surprised. I'd be surprised. But then again, I think at the same time, I wouldn't be surprised. He just hides it really well. He's just chill about it.
That's why he just starts crying sometimes on stage.
Yeah, it's just too much to handle.
I think he gets there naturally.
It's too beautiful. But yeah. I think that without those psychedelic substances that we have found in our existence, kind of how the fuck does that happen even just at all? Crazy.
Right.
But we have those things. They work reliably. And we even without those, I think that because we have that the DMT base within our system just off rip, even without those substances, we can ritual rain dance or get ourselves there on our own frequency, on our own climbing of elevation of like synchronistic moments. Because I remember there was a time where lizards were like I assigned meaning to lizards, just random lizards. I saw a lizard on my car. I was driving home. And there was a lizard on my windshield wiper. And like I realized it as I was driving, but I wasn't going on the highway or anything. I was going maybe like 55 max, 45. Just here to there, A to B. And I just remember thinking, I was like, oh man, hopefully he makes it. Hopefully he makes it. And I drove back to the crib and then, yeah, he was there. He made it. And I was like, okay, cool. That's what's up, man. And then I like looked up what lizards meant. Because I saw another 2 days later maybe, and it was like I assigned more meaning and significance to it, and then looked it up, and it was lizards are symbolic of like growth and regeneration, partially because of like their tails. You know what I'm saying? When their tails get pulled off, some lizards like just grow their tail back. So it was like a positive omen, more or less. I was like, oh, that's what's up. So I was like, all right, assign meaning to lizards. And I saw another lizard, and I was like, oh shit, this is tight. That's what's up. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling winky. I'm feeling coincidentally aligned with this life thing. And then I go back home like later that night, and then we watch a movie or a movie on Netflix with some friends that just came over. We're just hanging out, chilling, just like, and it was not even like a pre-assigned thing. It was just kind of a spur of the moment sort of hang out, and then a spur of the moment decision of Netflix, whatever movie it was, kind of just randomly on. And then none of us had seen it. Victoria just put it on, just boom, and then it was there was a meaning of lizards like assigned in the movie. It's like kind of arbitrarily that like a lizard marked like an important part of like a door or something like, or it signified like this person was involved in like their operation or whatever with like the lizard on their door or some shit like that. I don't even know. But just like having all those things just like tick, 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 just feeling like, woo! Sorry, guys.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
No, I feel you though.
Just sitting in a room with people just chilling, and then I'll just fucking stand up. It's like, boom, let's go. Sorry. You get charged up to the point where you're just fucking screaming.
I know what you mean.
Mm.
Yeah. Woo! I am in the perfect place at the perfect time. My life is on electric right now.
Just thinking about that. Yeah, the thought coincides with the life, the human experience. Your thought realm experience coincides with the human physical experience, and then you're just like, bink, right at it just hits perfectly. It's crazy. Someone will say something as you're thinking it, or like,
yeah,
fuck you up. Getting a hint.
Get a little hint. You get a little dose
of there's more here than meets the eye. Transformers. Decepticons are real. You're Optimus Prime. Welcome to the league, kid. You're just like, what? And then you can kind of come back down to human level.
Yeah.
You're just like, whoa.
Was that deja vu?
Am I tripping? Was that real? And then, but yeah, when you're there, you're fucking there. You're in it. You are Optimus Prime. Fighting Megatron.
Avatar Aang in the Avatar mode.
Mm-hmm.
Just like
this place is real. This place is real. This place is real. It's more real than this place. I think that place is the primary, and this is the secondary. This is the results of whatever the fuck's going on there. Other dimensions, quote unquote, if you want to conceptualize it like that.
if you watch Joe Rogan, he
realms,
says,
bruh.
Aliens are coming out of other dimensions.
Yeah.
The freaking
I've never experienced DMT, so I can't attest to the experience fully like that. I'm not sure exactly what happens. I've heard testimonials.
Yeah, from what the thing too is like, from what I know about DMT, I don't think that like you could do DMT all day every day for like years in a row.
I don't think you'd want to. But
Right.
I don't think you could, at least within the way. Maybe if you're like let's let's try to create a world in which I can do this. And in that world, I have to be like the offspring of some super trillionaire where I don't have to work or do any sort of obligations to anybody else besides myself.
Okay, heard.
So maybe if I'm like the son of a fucking trillionaire, I inherit $1 billion. I don't have to work. I don't have to do anything. I have servants. I have a manor that's taken care of. I have everything that I need taken care of by
A
other
manor's
people
hard.
for me. Yeah.
You pull that out on me, yeah.
I got all my shit. I got my drivers. I got people that wash me. I don't even gotta wash myself. You know, I'm getting bathed. I'm getting fucking bathed.
So you are
I'm
literally,
good.
literally,
I
in
can
another
literally just
realm.
lay in a fucking tub. No, they'll carry me out of the tub.
Don't drown.
I'll just lay. I can lay on the bed. They'll carry me to the tub. They'll get me ready, bathe me, take me back. Fucking full service. We're good to go.
Got it.
In that realm, I guess I could hypothetically be taking some DMT every single day for multiple, because I think it's, from what I've heard, it's like a short-lived experience. It's only like 15, 20 minutes maybe at
Right.
most. So I guess you could just keep on jumping back into the DMT realm, or you just take ayahuasca every day. Ayahuasca's a more longer, drawn-out period. That shit's like 6 hours plus. That's like a full trip.
I've heard it's super, like, not painful, but it's like, not, the whole thing's not enjoyable.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this demon's all around me. And then somebody sitting there being like, the demons are inside you. Humbaya, yeah. You can conquer the demons. Humbaya, yeah. You are the demon. Blah, 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 yeah. It's just like, it's in there, just in a fever fucking.
God, no. Oh, Captain Crunch. God, Tony the Tiger.
Metamorphosis.
Childhood drama. Cereal box.
Breakthrough. Yeah, that's 6 hours of that, though.
6 hours of that ride.
Sounds
It's
exhausting.
like a 6-hour wrestling match with demons.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I need to go to fight camp first.
Yeah,
You know
yeah,
what I'm
yeah.
saying?
You go to spiritual fight camp.
But I want to do that someday.
So
But-
yeah, I guess hypothetically you could get to a world where you live in that scenario we just painted, and you could take ayahuasca every day. I don't think you'd want to. I think it might be too much. It might be too much, Joe Rogan.
I think it's too much. Joe.
It's too much.
I
It's
knew
too much to
somebody,
handle. You
and-
couldn't be a human. You wouldn't be a human at that point.
I knew these two guys that allegedly took LSD every day for like over a month.
It's a lot of LSD, man. Joe Rogan.
They weren't like levitating when they walked. You know what I'm saying? They didn't. Their life didn't like magically get better.
They weren't wearing like robes and just
No. Which is like
Tibetan monks.
they were. It looked like they were drug addicts. You know what I'm saying?
Degenerates.
Right. I was like, well, that's not the
Alien
answer.
degenerates.
But what? That's the thing. And if it's like not meant to be the whoa, it's like it's meant to be salt and pepper on your life. It's meant to be like just a garnish. Is the life the dish or is life the chicken? I want the DMT to be the chicken and the chicken to be the life, you know? But instead, it's the salt and pepper on the chicken, which makes it a dish, and the dish is life.
Wait, hold on. Run me back through the chicken metaphor one more time.
It's like I want. Sometimes I
Who
want.
are we? Are we the eater of the chicken?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I want like the life that we're experiencing. It's like the DMT wow moments, the understanding, the actually knowing moments. That's just like the salt and pepper that goes on to what would be the protein that you're gonna eat. And I just want the whole. I want I want the wow moments to be the dish, and I just want just the dish. And I don't. I just want.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
But maybe it is kind of like that. And I guess maybe you can cross that metaphor into the idea that's like salt. Like seasonings make the dish. Like that's what makes the fucking dish. Like that's what brings the flavor. That's what makes it worth eating. That's what makes it delicious. That's what makes it. That transforms it from sustenance to delicious. But but you don't want to have just like a tablespoon of salt, or a fucking tablespoon of powder, or fucking powdered sugar, or fucking what is
cinnamon,
it?
Bro. Anything.
Yeah, cinnamon. The cinnamon challenge. Pepper.
I did the cinnamon challenge one time when I was a kid.
I remember that shit back in the day.
But I did it on accident.
Oh.
Like we had like a spice rack. This like, you know, they bought like a nice whatever $100 spice rack, and it came with all these spices in it. And in that they're all labeled. And then I was looking at all these spices and I saw cinnamon, and I just like had keyed like that's where the cinnamon is. That's where the cinnamon is. And then one day I was just like, yeah, I'm gonna catch a little bit of the cinnamon. You know what I'm saying? And I thought
I'm gonna catch a little bit of the cinnamon.
You know what I'm saying?
I love it. Okay.
And I opened, it's like a pop top, right? I opened the cinnamon, and then from opening the cinnamon, now in retrospect, I see everybody become alarmed. Like, what? And I, in my own mind, have confused cinnamon brown sugar.
How old are you?
with cinnamon. I'm 11 years old. I'm pretty much on the diet.
Okay.
And
cinnamon brown sugar.
I didn't
like
know.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Yeah, I thought that was cinnamon. I thought cinnamon was this sweet, delicious thing. And so I popped that up, and I'm like, you know, we used to make peanut butter sugar sandwiches. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just gonna
peanut butter sugar sandwich, motherfucker.
Yeah.
You said fuck the middleman. fuck jelly. Fuck that sugary purple shit. We're going right to sugar, baby. Just peanut butter sugar. What the fuck? Crazy. We're crazy kids. Jesus Christ.
just savages. Just like, I don't. You left to my own devices. That was like my favorite sandwich. Like,
yeah, bro.
Way better than ham and
Definitely ate
cheese.
them some bitches. Just delicious.
So in my mind, it was like this like thing, like, you know, parents aren't around. I'm gonna do a little cinnamon.
I'm gonna do a shot.
Like, seriously, no, seriously. It was if I had just been my stepsisters there, and I think we were like leaving, like we're getting ready to go somewhere, and I'm like,
let me get a roadie.
And I popped the top, and they're like, "What the fuck?" And I'm like, and I go to get like, you know, like a little dip, 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 and literally the cap falls off. Literally the cap falls off. It just boom. an entire mouthful of cinnamon. Like way more than a tablespoon.
Oh,
Like my whole
God.
mouth, like half the jar is all over my face and in my mouth. And
Jesus.
it was like it was dramatic. I started like suffocating. I'm like,
Choking on dust. Choking on powder and dust.
it's like calcifying in my mouth because my mouth's wet, and then there's cinnamon that went straight into my throat. So
Oh, God. That
I
sounds
started crying
terrible.
in
That
the
sounds
sink.
terrible.
I'm like,
For anyone who doesn't remember, the cinnamon challenge was a teaspoon of cinnamon. Just a teaspoon of cinnamon to the dome. That was it, right? That was
yeah,
the
see
challenge.
if you could hold it down for 10 seconds or something like that.
Yeah, see if you could swallow it. That was a challenge, I think, pretty much to its extent. I think that was about as intricate as it got.
But yeah, that story sticks out in my mind. Like it's just such a root memory of like my own folly, my own hubris. You know what I'm saying?
Just your own ignorance,
Yeah,
just not knowing in the first place.
trying to be cool for a second and just 100% backfire. What kind of flex is that? Hey, check me out. I'm gonna do a line of cinnamon real quick. One for the road.
Let me hit this so much real quick. Watch this.
And just like, but also I think
Like the cinnamon? Did you say the cinnamon? Even before you knew it was too late.
at the same time though, it's just like that's one of those things. Like I think that was one of those moments where life was just like perfect. Like not for me
It's
in that
fucking
moment,
hilarious.
but for everyone else in that moment, that was like, and even me later. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, life's so perfect. Life's so
Mhm.
funny, bro.
It's like that shouldn't have. You shouldn't have been trying to take a shot of cinnamon in the first place. Your own ignorance led you down the wrong path. But then, like the idea that the lid to the cinnamon would like the next time someone poured it, it was gonna fall. The next time someone poured that shit, it was busting.
Yeah.
So like, it just so happened to coincide with that
Yeah.
that ignorance
To
and, like,
create that
action.
moment.
Yeah. Because like if someone could have just added cinnamon to their coffee and it just like poof,
yeah,
but nope,
it was in my face.
nowhere near as funny.
At all. And yeah, that's just like
It's like a perfect life moment.
yeah. Yeah, that shit just like there's moments where it just like hits like pure comedy happens. Like something hilarious.
It's a funny
happens.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's God being an amazing writer in my opinion. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like
Mhm.
there's perfect moments. I think when we watched that Colts game in that bar, Andrew Luck's biggest comeback ever, I think there was God in that moment. I think that like God wrote that moment. It's like too perfect. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the moments that have to be written.
Yeah. And like that's why I try to just like do my part or like act well. Cuz you can fuck up your own moments sometimes, you know what I'm saying? Like
Mm-hmm.
I mean maybe you can't. That's kind of the thing. It's like God is like taking care of you and knows where you're at. And like it's so funny just to teach me such a quick lesson about whatever that was, posing or like trying to be perceived as something or whatever or like
Uh-huh.
it's just funny. I think when you're a kid like there's just something animates you. You're like sometimes it's like maybe like if my little sister was getting too much attention or something like that and I might start like acting out. I think it was more the other way around, but I just don't want to talk shit about my sister. But like I think there's just times when like we start being something that we're not and it's like why are you doing that? And it's like a projection of some kind of discomfort that lies in your subconscious, and then being able to like track that and just like act within yourself and just be present and like where you're supposed to be by all means of where you're supposed to be any second of any day. You kind of know what you're supposed to be doing. Definitely if you have a job or definitely if you have like obligations, you know.
Yeah.
And as long as you can just be in that moment and be present and be your best self, like those moments will like hopefully be perfect. You know what I'm saying? It's all you can do.
Yeah, or lead you to a perfect story or whatever, an enjoyable story at least.
Right. Hopefully you can be the protagonist of your story and not the antagonist of anybody else's story. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
So the story of David's so crazy. Because like David was like David versus Goliath. Then David goes on to like he's like I'm pretty sure he's married. And then one of his war generals, because he's a king, so he becomes like from slingshot boy to king. And then one of his war generals, he like falls in love with that guy's wife. And then he sends the war general to the front lines so that he can get killed, so that he can like sleep with his wife. And then you're like, David? Like the fucking
The boy?
the boy. Like
The boy?
I think are we not talking about Goliath? He kills Goliath.
The boy.
I've heard that story. And like it's just like antagonist to protagonist or protagonist to antagonist. Like if you're not careful, you can like I don't know, go from like literally a chosen hallmark. Like David versus Goliath is like transcendent of all time, you know?
Transcendent story.
To like
Story as old as time.
to dog shit. You know what I'm saying? It's like, what are you doing? You're literally a king, bro. Like, what more could you want? You can't just distract yourself. Like,
It's fucked up.
so that's why I'm saying it's important to act right because, like, people go on that kind of archetypical journey if you're not careful. It's crazy.
Yeah, the ups and the downs.
My last thought, or at least one of the last thoughts I want to share with you is, like, what do you think about dreams?
Dreams are crazy. I'm not sure how much validity or truth can be held to them.
Is God writing those dreams?
Right? I think so. I guess hypothetically. I think it's part of it's self-produced. I guess in the same manner that's part of our life is self-produced as well. We have free will here. I think we also have free will, or I think part of that free will extends into that subconscious realm, and then that's what we're experiencing when we go to sleep a little bit. It's like the crossover, or like the intersection between subconscious and conscious. We're in a weird kind of gray area between, I guess, because we can control, we can't control dreams to a degree, but there are like vivid dreams or like lucid dreaming. There it is.
My dad says he can lucid dream. It's hard to pinpoint. I guess he says like if he focuses on it and it works, like he could probably lucid dream like twice a week.
Damn,
that's pretty high rate.
That's crazy.
He could like not try and not lucid dream for like 2 or 3 weeks, but like he's in a practice of, for the most part, like remembering to try when he's going to sleep with like energy, and he's definitely going to get
Conscious
8
effort.
hours. He's like, all right, I forget. I think he said like, either he said this or I heard it somewhere else, but I think he told me like you have a thought and then you just like hold that thought. And then as you're falling asleep, just keep thinking that thought. And then let yourself like fall asleep while you're thinking that thought. And then eventually like you'll go into your dream.
Like repeating the same thought?
Yeah.
Okay.
And you'll go into your dream, but like just by repeating that thought, you'll have like kept yourself in your conscious mind like awake enough to be conscious in the dream.
Mm-hmm.
But then you also have to be able to have like an identifier, like something that tells you when you're dreaming that this is a dream. Like you need to be able to recognize
To wake
it.
to come to in the dream.
Yeah.
In the dream world.
Yes.
It's like wake up here. Don't wake up there. Wake up here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I'm up.
Yeah.
I'm dreaming. Yes.
Yeah. And that's kind of like how you would play in the lucid dream realm. Is like keep your conscious brain awake by not letting your conscious brain go to sleep as your body is falling into the rhythmic brain pattern of a sleeping person. And then once your conscious mind is awake and you enter the dream to be like you said, wake up in the dream without waking up in real life.
Yeah.
Because you could be like, and then wake up. Like that was me as a kid all the time. I'd be like, I'm dreaming. And then I'd wake up and be like, damn it. I was right there.
I had it.
I had it.
For a second, I had it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've had that. I've experienced that emotion or that feeling of being like, oh shit, I'm in a dream. I'm in a dream. And like coming to in the dream and being able to control it at least a little bit for a small span of time, sometimes for a long span or what seems to be a long span. But yeah, I've definitely felt that before. And I think that, I don't know, I can't speak on anyone else's experience, of course. That's all we can do is speak on our own experience and share it. You can't really say whether or not it's like 100% true, but within myself, my story, I think that dreams are definitely like telling, or definitely, maybe it's a couple different combinations of things. Maybe it's just like your subconscious trying to work things out, or trying to tell you something, or like trying to bring something to your attention, your conscious attention, so you can work it out in the conscious life, or something that you did work out in the conscious life, and then it's just like reaffirming, or I don't know, it's some sort of expression of conscious and unconscious thoughts and behaviors and whatever you're trying to work through or get over or incorporate or whatever it is. So it's like some sort of working out between your minds, or between, because I guess we're experiencing and we have both a subconscious and unconscious, or subconscious and conscious minds, like the whole time. It feels like it's like waking life and sleeping life, but I think both of those are just like part of the same whole, like just experience, the human experience in general. It's like maybe sleep is like it is important to get sleep for like your conscious waking life. Like sleep deprivation is fucking critical to all your. It hinders you in every way imaginable, pretty much.
Yeah.
So we literally need it. But then I think also we need it because it maybe helps us work out our subconscious thoughts or helps us organize and discard things that we don't need anymore. Maybe helps us free up our storage on our hard drive or whatever the fuck, or saying delete some old files or organize the folders in your mind's computer software cabinet, whatever's going on metaphorically with that. So maybe that's what's going on partially. But then also I think that God can work through that, or some sort of prophetic messages or something can come to you through those dreams as well. Might be like an interdimensional plane. Because I've also heard, I haven't experienced it personally, but I've also heard other people talk about like you could see like relatives and like other people in like other dimensions, or like your friends and family like will come to you in dreams and talk to you.
Yeah, my mom came to me in a dream one time. I hadn't even thought about it in a really long time until you were like, I was like sourcing myself for your information. I was like, where do I have oh yeah, I have a witness for that. But yeah, I just had a dream where I was like in a different realm. It was like it felt different than a normal dream where you just wake up and it kind of like makes sense that you are where you are. But like, I woke up in like what was my mom's house, but then I was like, and then my mom's door was open. And then there was like something telling me that like she was around the corner, or there was like some hope there. And I like walked around, and then she was in there. And then I walked in there and I was like, this isn't your house. Like, we're in your house, but it's not your house. And then she was like, I made this place so that you and I could talk. And I was like, so this is like really you? And then she was like, yes. And then I just started like crying. Like I just like fell to my knees and wept. And then
no questions. No questions asked.
no, just like boom.
I believe you.
Yeah. And then in that moment, yeah, it was like I literally didn't even. I was thinking to myself, like, what would I?
This can't be. This is crazy. This is impossible.
Not even that. Not at all. I was like, what should I communicate to her? What do I want to say to her? Or what do I want to ask her? Or like, what do I want? Like, what should I be doing with this time that I have with you? And it was, my own brain was like, nothing. Like, just be here. Like, just be together in this energy. Like, that's the only thing I want. And it was like, just crazy, yo. Just crazy. And then I woke up, and then, that feeling was just like that DMT feeling, that like LSD, like energy feeling, just like hung on me like all day. Like I couldn't not feel like the next day the song War by King Los was going, it had just came out, and I listened to that like all day long, like just on repeat. I think
great song.
My dad paid me to clean the house that day. So I'm just like, there's a war going on outside the corner. There's a war going on. Sweeping and mopping and everything, bro. And I don't know. It was just so weird. I was just so like, it was such a real moment,
Yeah.
And I was fucked up. I had gotten drunk the night before. I was drinking with my friend Clay. And I drank gin, and I never drink gin. I drank a ton of gin. And then
no juice. Hold the juice.
Hold the juice.
All gin.
Gin out the bottle. Just
Genie.
Breathing fire like a dragon, dog.
Like a dragon, cuz. Jeez Louise.
And fucking snuck back in the house. In my mind, I'm like fucking Ocean's 11, like do a cartwheel, silent cartwheel. It's probably like bumped into the table. The dog starts barking. But anyways, I get in there. I climb up into the top of this bunk bed in my brother's room where I'm sleeping because I'm home from college. Now just boom out like a fucking light.
Sack of rocks.
And then this fucking, like you said, another dimension. Like my first thought was like, this is not even dream world. This is like a weird place. I feel like there's like a purple, black, rift galaxy outside of me.
It's a little rip in the space-time continuum.
Yeah. Yeah, so weird.
A weird level in the subconscious layers that we have, whatever the hell goes on when you go into a deep sleep or a deep dream, deep dream world.
Yeah. When you feel safe enough to dream deep, that's another thing too.
Yeah.
Like when you feel safe is when you sleep the hardest. And if you can get to a point where you never feel safe, like your anxiety is so high that you never really sleep good because, you're worried about so much. And I think part of it's like when you were a caveman, you had to literally be able to come out of your sleep if there was a fucking tiger around you.
And ready to go.
Yeah.
Club in hand.
So you couldn't be like drooling on the pillow and shit when you're sleeping in the savannah, bro. Like
Sleeping in the rainforest.
yeah, no way. Yeah, you gotta be ready to fucking stab something, bro.
Yeah. That's a different level.
So I think that's part of like how that thing developed. But like, yeah, going home and sleeping like at my dad's house, or you can even be nervous to be around your parents or whatever. But like in that moment, after hanging out with Clay, drinking so much, and then getting back to my dad's house and just being like, I'm done.
Just
Like who knows how deep the sleep can get, you know?
yeah. So dreams are just crazy as hell. Yeah, you
They're
said
so
your mom.
vivid.
Yeah, your mom organized that, or that was like her expression.
Yeah.
So it's like,
I created this.
what? I have more questions.
Dude, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if the trauma was too deep or what. My brain was like, you should be fucking asking some things here. And I was like, no amount of understanding will feel better than presence.
Yeah, just being here right now.
Yeah. This is the maximum. If I'm going to soak this in, I just want to soak it in. Like, I remember thinking that too. I always was thinking about in high school when I was playing football, if we were to like win a game, like if I were to hit a game winning field goal or like some kind of game winner, like what I would do in that moment, like that thing presented itself to me like when I was like 15, 16, 17. When I was 18 and a senior, I kicked a game winning field goal. And in that moment, I had predetermined and pre-decided that what I would do would be to just like look at everybody else celebrating, to like truly take in what just happened. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like there was just something that idea, that rooted thing is like just sometimes like I'd rather be present than have my phone out to record what's going on, because you could like really soak it in. But I don't know if that's good or not. I should have probably asked some questions to my mom and like, what are we doing here? Where are you right now? Like, is there heaven? Like, who's there? What's it like? You know what I'm saying?
What's going on?
We'll never know.
No.
Maybe that was like the perfect. I couldn't ask any questions. I wouldn't ask any questions. It was perfect.
It was already perfect. Yes.
You know?
It was already good.
Who knows?
There's nothing else to know. There's nothing else you needed.
Yeah, exactly.
In that moment.
I felt that too.
Yeah.
It's like there's no
need for anything else.
No. Maybe that's what heaven feels like.
Yeah. It's like you don't need to know, or you don't need to. There's no needs, or like all needs are met. All needs are met to the fullest capacity. It's like, now what? It's like, just enjoy that. It's like, oh, my needs are met. Yes, my needs are met.
You're good? Oh, me too.
Everything is good.
Yeah.
Something like that to a degree.
But yeah, dreams are weird.
I don't know about them.
With archetypical settings.
I think they're important. I think there's. It's hard to say, pinpoint exactly what it is. There's something there. There's something there. There's something there.
One of the great mysteries of life.
Another thing that's like deeper than what's presented. It's like, 'cause yeah, everyone has. I guess some people don't have dreams. Some people don't dream, maybe. But I think everyone kind of knows what that is. It's like a common thing that we're all referring to. That's probably one of the things that is common across all languages. It's like maybe every language has a word or a term for the word or for the expression, the idea of dreaming. What happens when you go to the sleep place? Mm-hmm. I'm sure we all have reference to that.
Yeah.
So there's something there.
There's something, right?
It's just as important, just as perplexing and mysterious as life, conscious life.
Yeah, that shit's crazy, bro. Yeah.
The mind.
We'll dive more into dreams later, but you about ready to sign off on these people?
Yeah, we're gonna go open our minds.
Open your mind.
Play-Doh school. Get it in. Comment, like, subscribe, share. The whole nine. Calling to action. This is a call to action.
What do we want them to do?
Huh?
What do we want them to do? Be a fan?
Be a fan. Tell a friend. Be a friend. Tell a friend.
Hold it down.
Comment, like, subscribe, share. That's it.
I love it. I love it.
We love it. Go get it in. We're rooting for you. It's gonna be another beautiful one. Until see you next time.
Bye.
Rolling through the city to the light show. Really ain't no telling where we might